Hi everyone, I'm Vince and welcome to my channel Vince Cooper Games. In this video we're going to take a look at my solitaire war game, Bloody Lane. In this video we're going to be looking specifically at the crouch and reform action, the crouch token, and the march token. Let's briefly review where we're up to in our understanding of how the game works. So every turn the foremost Union counter will roll 1d6. On a result of 1 to 4, it will resolve move. If it's in attack position number 4, it will potentially resolve a charge action. If you roll a 5 or a 6 on 1d6, the counter will resolve a volley action. If you roll a natural 1, you resolve the sharpshooter action. A subsequent roll of 1 or 2 reduces the officer value by 1, from 4 to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 1, and so on. Let's take a look at this setup here. We've got the 14th Indiana in attack position number 3 with a cohesion of 2, the 69th New York in attack position number 2 along attack track B1. If we roll d6 to determine the action of the 14th Indiana, and we get a 4, that's a move. So the 14th Indiana will move from attack position number 3 to number 4, in which case subsequently the 69th New York will make an automatic move from attack position number 2 to attack position number 3. Let's move them back. If for the 14th Indiana we rolled a 5 or a 6, that would be a volley action. That's covered in a previous video. The 14th Indiana would resolve an attack against the 2nd North Carolina and would remain in position. In this case, the 69th New York cannot move forward, so the 69th New York would resolve the hold action. Okay, what we're going to look at today is the crouch and reform action, as well as the crouch token and the march token. So let's start off with the crouch and reform action. If during the Confederate action phase, the 2nd North Carolina inflicts a hit on the 14th Indiana, that will reduce the cohesion from 2 down to 1. A cohesion of 0 means the 14th Indiana is destroyed and removed from the game. So it has a cohesion of 1, in which case we immediately place a crouch token. The crouch token means that as long as it remains attached, means that in a subsequent turn, the 2nd North Carolina or the 6th Alabama, 14th New York using oblique fire. But if the 2nd North Carolina makes an attack against the 14th Indianapolis, it would suffer a -1 cohesion penalty. So if the 2nd North Carolina has a cohesion of 5 and it attacks the 14th Indiana with a crouch token attached, the cohesion check would be made with a modified cohesion of 4, as well as other modifiers that we've covered before. So that's the situation. The 14th Indiana has had its cohesion reduced to 1 and a crouch token attached. This means that in the next Union action turn, you're going to make a cohesion check to see if the cohesion of the 14th Indiana increases from 1 to 2. This is the crouch and reform action. And the crouch and reform action is resolved automatically for any Union counter that has a cohesion of 1 and a crouch token attached. So you do not roll 1d6 to determine whether the 14th Indiana will move or volley. So the cohesion check is very simple. You roll 1d6. If the result is a 1, it's a success, in which case the cohesion will increase from 1 to 2. If it's a failure, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, the cohesion remains at 1. So let's roll 1d6 and see what we get. So it's a 1. So in that case, the cohesion increases to 2. The crouch token remains attached until the end of the turn. Okay, so this is still going to affect any Confederate attack. Let's go back, however, and assume that we rolled a 2, in which case the cohesion check failed. Okay, the cohesion remains at 1. What happens to the 69th New York? The 69th New York normally would not be able to move forward. However, in the situations where the foremost Union counter has a cohesion of 1, the 69th New York will attempt to move forward. And it does this by resolving a cohesion check. So you would roll 1d6, a result of 1, 2, 3, or 4 for the 69th New York will mean it will move forward, and the 14th Indiana will move backwards and they will swap places. A 5 or 6 means that the 69th New York will hold and remain in position. Okay, so let's see what result we get. And the result is a 6. So the 69th New York has failed. If the cohesion check fails, you attach a march token to the 69th New York. This means that in a subsequent turn, if the 69th New York makes a cohesion check to swap places with the 14th Indiana, it will receive a +1 bonus to its cohesion. And the march tokens are cumulative. So at some point, if 14th Indiana remains with cohesion 1, the 69th New York will roll 1d6 and get a 6 or less. If that happens, you remove the march token. The 69th New York moves into attack position number 3, and the 14th Indiana is replaced and retreats back to attack position number 2. It still has a cohesion of 1, and it still has a crouch token attached. And that's how to resolve a crouch and reform action. That explains the crouch token, and it explains the march token. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next video.